All right, we are live, everyone. This is Hex Foodies Telegram group, Hex Foodies on YouTube, and Hex Foodies on Facebook. Come out and join the conversation. We are interested in helping people understand that there is a regenerative lifestyle to be had, and Hex, through the freedom of Hex, our Hexicans should be able to navigate them and all of their ancestors away from the dystopia that's happening in the world. And our group. Haha, did that just happen? I just exited myself out. Maybe better with my tabs. Replace that sticky mouse. Alright, I think everything is going. Let me check. So what I want to do today is go over some of the contributions that everybody has given to the Hex Foodies Telegram group, as well as whatever everyone else in the group would like to talk about. I think that some of the guys, some of the people have contributed some awesome artifacts. So let's share screen. Share. How's everybody today? I have been onboarding people. It's been lovely. I don't know what's happening here. I might be stuck on this. Oh, maybe like this. Yeah. I want to share a window because I want to share the Telegram. But the Telegram wasn't in a window on its own. It was downsized to where StreamYard doesn't recognize it was there for some reason. And that's why I had trouble the other day when I was trying to share my Telegram. Okay, I don't think there is anything to be revealed on accident. There we go. There we go. We made it big now. We made it big. Big in multiple ways. Alright, so I'm just going to talk about these things that were placed in the Telegram chat. I think we have some extremely valuable members. So first I'd like to talk about how I've made some polls to have some fun. And so I'm wondering if people entered higher education, university, if you will. 90% of the people, out of 10 votes, 9 people went to higher learning. So that's like, in my opinion, that's trade school, that's university. So whether you get the basics plus your specialty or just your specialty, and then maybe that could go into having a trade mentor. I'm not sure. Are you in a place with local ties, connections, relationships, or are you relocating? We got 8 votes, 50-50. 50%. 4 people, 4 Hexicans are relocating and trying to make it new in a new location. That's very interesting. And then we have 4 Hexicans with the power of their existing ties to their community. That's really interesting too. I just saw the time was 4:44. I've been getting that lately because I'm protected by angels. If you look up angel numbers, you'll see. Bruno, he is making wine. So he's smashing grapes here. He says this is the wine production of 2021. I don't know if you're able to see this in big like I am. It's pretty cool. Alright, so Finbear is talking about climate change and the amount that people are being forced to uphold this narrative of climate change. And then HEXDragon had this awesome interview with one of the guys from RAD, and RAD is a land design company for your homestead. So basically what I want to be involved in is what RAD is already doing. So that's pretty sweet. My next architecture project is going to be a landscape with a single family house and like 5 to 10 acres or something. I hope my sound's okay. I hope my compadres understand that we're live right now. I hope that my time is the right time. I guess I'll just leave it at that. So going down further, we have Yozo. Yozo looks to have submitted some, I don't know what those are. I guess those are cucumber-ish type plants over there on the left, inside of a large garden. I can see there's a different type of tree in the back to where, you know, this doesn't extend and extend and extend. And I think this is a fruit tree to the front left. And then there's a boxed off, looks like wood planter. And it's either gourds or a cucumber-like thing that's growing. It's covering the ground here. I'm not speaking to the grass. And then there's a garlic and fennel. Oh, I love fennel. For some reason, I really like fennel. I like to just chew on fennel just for a long period of time. Hey, HEXDragon, you ready to come on? You're frozen. You're having trouble. Today is not a good day for satellite stuff, it seems. HEXDragon, I can't see your face, so I don't know if you want to come on. Oh, private chat. I think I may have bad internet connection. May have to try some things. Well, that is exactly what I was fearing or thinking, to where I've already dealt with that thought. Going back to the gourd production. So here's an amount of tomatoes, peppers that look to still be on the vine, garlic, and gourds. So I guess this person's in the fall already. And then we have massive potatoes. Looks like a good sized potato. Oh, this was cool. I think they said, who is this? This is Bruno who said this. Bruno says that this is a 1930s machine. Check this thing out. You know, I don't know what it sounds like, but that looks really cool. I can kind of see, I can kind of reverse engineer it right now in my head. How it smashes the hay together a few inches at a time. Or what is it doing? It's decompressing it, or it's compressing it? It's gotta be compressing it, right? This shows my intelligence. I hear the trash man outside. I'm so happy they're coming by and picking up my recycles. I've missed my recycles for the last few weeks. Take my recycles! Take my recycles! Take my recycles! You know that you pay a shit ton for your recycles to go to the recycle yard, and then those people, it's free resources for them to then sell off to the next person. That's then going to make your whatever out of recycled material, and economy too. So I don't think we've fully gotten down to whether that's earth friendly or not. And I'm sure that there's different levels. There's if you're in one atmosphere, it's different than the other. And I'm not talking about atmosphere of like them processing the plastic. Instead, I'm saying atmosphere is like how far close to the city center are you? How much of a concrete jungle is it already? I bet that's where the statistics are different. As I drink out of a plastic cup. I want Finbear on here because I got a surprise for him. He's usually at every Mexican stream, including ours. He must have dinner and the kids today. Okay, so let's keep going. We got a comment. I'm gonna put you up, Max. This is X-Ray Vision. He's on a field trip today. Your mic may not be facing your direction. I'm taking my face away from it often, but you're hearing only. I think I'm good now. I'll put that one up and I'll leave it up. How is my audio right now, Max? I think it's good. This is definitely going to be an hour stream. Hey Max, you could do a field trip appearance, and something that would be really fun is somebody could go to the grocery store sometime and talk about what it is that they are addicted to, and then reveal it to us all, and then we could talk about like, oh yeah, I was addicted to that too. Why don't you try this for that fix, or that for this fix? So Bruno has added his honey. What is this? What do you call this? Honey harvesting. I am not even an amateur beekeeper. I'm a wannabe beekeeper. And so I've been to multiple local county beekeeper meetings, and they are some very interesting eclectic folks, and you will meet other eclectic folks if you join, and more people just keep on coming in. I learned so much from my local Beekeepers Association. If you have the inkling, go ahead and join it. I think that would be really cool. He says that my sound is better. It's probably because I'm speaking up. Hey, look, y'all, I got my Hexagon Vegas shirt hanging in the background, so this is a legit place to be. You can probably turn the gain down. It's picking up really well. I can probably stop leaning into it too. You talk about gain, and I was lost. So I have Max interacting with me in the YouTube comments. I'm still proposing that he does an appearance, and I'm going back to Telegram. So harvesting honey. So I'm a person who always got stung. I think it's because the community garden that I was helping out with, we put the bees in the wrong place. We put the bees where the bees were really getting hot and bothered, especially at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Like they'd been in the sun for 6 hours by that time. And then, so if you have a dark-eyed, dark-browed, dark facial, and then dark hair, for some reason that just pisses them off and they go after you. So one time I got stung, I think it was 13 times all at once. And so my face swelled up. I used to not be affected by bee stings, but for some reason, as I got older, bee stings got to me. Now that I'm revisiting that thought, I wonder if that's because of the sickness within. I wonder if that's literally the way that my body acts to the environment. Like I've poisoned myself so much that a bee sting can't just flow through me like nothing. Because a lot of people, they have the opportunity to not be affected by bee stings, or they take bee stings to fight arthritis. They literally they kill a bee in order to get stung by it. And I know a person who does or did this every day towards the end of their life. I don't know if this person's still alive. It's our local beekeeper expert. And because I haven't been in touch in a while, sadly, I don't know if this person still exists. Lovely person. Absolutely lovely. Taking a moment to remember this person. Miss Mary Bost in Georgetown, Texas. Her husband and her sons are all proponents of beekeeping, and they have taught many, many people. They've had their hand in thousands of beekeepers having their understanding of beekeeping. Okay, so right back to, I don't think I'm going to play this video because I don't know if it's going to go through well. So here is some honey leaking out of the bottom of the pot after they do, I think this is after you do a centripetal force on the inside of the pot. And then you just fill up your containers. Either that or you put it through a filter and then you fill it up. And then this is them rendering all of the comb, which a little bit of comb placed inside of a honey jar makes it so much more authentic to people. However, it doesn't need to be. And yes, you can eat the honeycomb. And here are two bees on the edge of what looks like their box, with all the trays going across to the back right, back behind them to the right, up and to the right. For you guys at home, is that this way? We're just going up. So these bees here are in the area where propolis is laid. And propolis is, I believe it's something that a worker bee regurgitates, and they actually make this stuff, regurgitates into their mouth and then places these, the propolis. And the propolis is to seal off the areas that the bees are going to use from the outside environment so that it's clean and sanitary. And the propolis itself has no, it's a little bit antibacterial, I believe, but it's very sanitary for them. And so, like I say, they cover voids in their hive with the propolis. And then say something came by and wanted to raid them. Say a rat came into their hive and wanted some of that honey to survive. And then the bees inside the hive attacked that rat and killed that rat because it got bit so many times within a small body. So it stops living inside of their nest, right? What do the bees do? If they can't drag that rat out the front and kick it off the front step, then they coat that rat completely and allow it to like not even decompose. They just seal the whole rat so that there's no problems for them. And then they just treat it as another portion of the wall and continue to build and be their kind. If Paul Wheaton, who I know personally, he tells a story about going to somebody's house and sleeping in their guest room, a guest room that's called like the bee room or the hive room. And so supposedly inside of an entire wall of this house is a beehive, and those bees keep that the temperature of that room at a constant 70 degrees or something. They're quite warm. And then if they need to heat up, they'll just move, exert the energy. Pretty neat. I'm going to start making some changes to my life here soon. And one of them is going to be like a badass studio situation so that I don't have to like point the camera at an angle down a wall so that you're only seeing certain things. So these bees are up near the propolis, and I think that I know that bees can rob honey from other bees. So they go over to a beehive, they sneak past the guards, they go to the honey production, and they grab that honey and they run for their own hive. So it's hive versus hive. And honey is their stored energy. It's their stored food. When it is that you're taking honey from a beehive, you're robbing them. You're a fucking honey robber, you little. So you got to leave enough behind so that they can survive and so that they'll stay in the same place and not get pissed off. I hope everything's going well with the stream. The stream internet connection. I told you Hex Dragon is trying to join us. Hex-Ray Vision is out on a field trip. Doesn't care to join us. This is a weekly come together. If you're a part of if you're a Hexican or a person who has questions for us Hex foodies or me personally, you're welcome to join in. And I'm gonna I just put the thing. I just put the link in the chat. I don't know if that went to Facebook as well. If you're on Facebook, please come over to YouTube. Finbear says that he might join soon. Totally. I'll have you. Of course, it's your show too. Even though I didn't give you a password, it's your show too. And so going back to the Telegram chat, if you want to be a part of Hex Foodies, you can come out to Telegram. I recommend that you follow Richard's calls on Telegram as well. That's where you'll get straight from the source information about Hex and Pulse Chain. And if you're a Texan, we have Hex Texas group. And if you're addicted to trading, you could just go into Hex Traders or Trading, Hex Trading. It's a Telegram group. I'm very behind on all the messages that are in there. Oh my gosh, I'm 136,000 messages behind. That's hilarious. That means that I'm not even behind. I'm just not active. Oh, and then there's pulsechain.com in Telegram group. And then inside of that, you can go to the voice chat, and there's always guys sharing awesome information on that. Hey, Hex Dragon, I'm going to bring you up. Howdy, how are you?
Hey, Davin, how you doing?
Good.
Excellent. Yeah, I wanted to stop in for a bit, at least say hi.
Yeah.
You had some great topics for the discussion for today, so I thought I'd contribute a little bit.
Please.
Apologize, I missed the first 18 minutes due to technical difficulties, but how's my connection now?
It's very good.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I got a new hotspot, which is helping a lot, so excellent.
Is it okay that I send the link out 5 minutes before or right as we're going on, or does that disrupt you? You know?
No, I just need to be prepared for it, and I thought I was, and then the internet went out at the house, so I had to find an alternative. Borrowed it from a friend. Yeah, I think that we're scheduled for noon Central Time every Tuesday. So 5 minutes before for a little like break room discussions, I think is a very appropriate way to manage a stream.
Cool. Yeah, I'm not the best planner and stuff, so
You're getting better and better.
I am getting better, I think. Cool. I now see your comment about hotspots. What topic did you want to elaborate on?
Let me mistakes to avoid.
Cool.
So, um,
So let's preface it. I proposed to the group in the Hex Foodies chat, like, hey, try bringing like a food item or a show and tell item, or maybe a hey Hexicans, watch out for this, don't do this story. So awesome, let's hear it.
yeah, so I was on Hexican's farm helping out, and it's a 200-acre property, lots of potential, and we have some livestock there. And we're doing regenerative rotational grazing, which basically means we have a paddock system set up, and the cows get moved every day, so that simulates wild animal grazing behavior, where they stay in one spot and then they move. It's usually predators that move them. Humans are predators, so technically we're still moving them. But I had warned, so there's another guy on the farm, and he's like, what do you think about goats? I'm like, we cannot get goats. Goats are a nightmare. Do not get goats. We are not ready for goats. They're incredibly challenging. And he went ahead and got goats. And they have unleashed hell. There's a reason they're the symbol of the devil. Is they will literally destroy everything. So I built a 1 acre homestead with a electric fence around it and a lot of fruit trees in there. And they jump through the electric fence. So most animals, when they get shocked, they jump backwards. Goats will jump forward. So like fear causes them to take action. And
Wow.
so they will jump through the electric fence again and again and again. and they girdle the trees. They kill everything.
They eat the bark off the tree?
Yes, they will eat the bark at the base of the tree, which just kills the entire tree.
Wow.
So they really are a nightmare to have on your property. They can be a great test to see how secure your fencing system is.
Okay.
And they can be used if you, for example, buy a non-stewarded forest or whatever.
For
When
clearing.
it's super overgrown, they'll clear out a lot of that, and they won't. But you have to get them out because they'll kill the trees. Like everywhere you see goats popular in history and present day is desert. It is because of their grazing behavior.
So it's almost like rent a goat.
Yeah, and that's a service that is in many cities actually. The other thing that built on that is when you start getting animals, start small because you don't know what you don't know. And they're going to find ways to escape, ways to surprise you, and a lot of challenges. So start small. And the other great Judy tip is if you have an animal that is doing things bad, get rid of them immediately. Don't hold on to them. Don't try to retrain them. They will train the other animals that bad behavior. So
that was in one of the videos that we had reviewed. What was that? It was breeding.
Breeding? Yeah.
It had to do with that breeding video that we did where he was saying, like, hey, if you have any, was it Mark Shepard? Who was it? Never mind.
Probably Greg Judy. But
They just said, if you see something you don't like, go ahead and pull them away from the herd and allow those others to breed. Like down to like the smallest little bit. Just go ahead and allow others to breed rather than that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, if you're getting to for my intention and some people I work with, intention with having livestock wasn't for eating, but it's for the benefits that they have because they do help build soil very quickly, and they manage the grasses and the other stuff that we don't eat. So they provide benefit no matter what your diet is. But you have to have really firm boundaries with your livestock because they are smarter than you think. They're also dumber than you think. So yeah, just keep the ones around that have good behavior and get rid of the ones that don't, whatever that looks like. It can just be quarantining them, moving to a different area, selling them to a rescue, or eating them, whatever it is. But animals are really important, but they are an expense in using them or having them on the land properly. So do a lot of research before getting animals. If you don't do it right, it's going to degrade your land, which is what we see happening in most of the world. Is people don't actually know how to raise animals. They don't know how to raise livestock. Whether it's a big herd or small herd, you cannot let them free range. Free range is the most unnatural thing that we have right now, aside from CAFOs. Free range basically means they're in a space with no predators to move them. So they have free range to be destructive. And they will be. They will turn your land into a desert, given enough time.
Yikes. So, so you're speaking specifically to goats, though, as well?
I mean, goats are like a hell no. You just don't want to you don't want to deal with goats unless you have like 15 years plus experience with sheep. And sheep are really challenging because they're similar to goats.
So what would be the timeline then, in your opinion? Somebody goes to a piece of property that's similar to yours, or what they would find out that way, which is, let's just say that's Austin area over into the more agricultural areas of like Bastrop or LaGrange.
Well, one, you don't need goats.
Yeah.
They really the only time you'd want them is for clearing land. Just in like if you're a property developer and you're gonna like bulldoze everything, yeah, let the goats eat it first.
So maybe rent the goats initially, and then you would put chickens on it, and then you would coincide with something else.
I would do a leader follower model. Again, this is with unlimited funds. Leader follower.
Unlimited funds, yeah.
So leader follower, for those who don't know, is basically you have a bunch of different animals, and they get moved every day, and they just kind of follow each other. So the front of the herd, it's not really a herd in this case, is the calves and sometimes the mothers. So calf cows, and then you have the non-nursing mothers as day 2, and then you would have sheep or pigs, and you'd have turkeys or chickens, and then you could have the other sheep or pigs, and then you'd have your turkeys or chickens. So you can kind of play with that a little bit, but what you're doing is the calves need to get the most nutritious bite of food so they can grow the fastest. They need it. The mothers get that for healthy milk for the calves. Then you have the cows that can eat the second bite of food, which isn't as healthy. Then you have the sheep, which are less picky eaters than cows. Pigs are less picky too. If they have a ring, there's cows that eat, or not cows, pigs that eat grass, like kuni pigs, for example. The turkeys will eat the seeds, a lot of the weed seeds that are available. And then the chickens come towards the end because they're going to eat all the maggots out of the droppings that are there. So they're going to help control the fly population and all that. And they also eat some grass and other things. So that way you're taking this like a lot of foliage and it's getting eaten down. And then it's like here, and then it's given time to heal and recover. And all the animals and stuff. And so a lot of that will get trampled down. So you have this nice, what's called soil armor. The grass and stuff and droppings will be there, leaving the soil covered. Goats, if you had goats, they would eat everything and you'd have bare soil. You never want to have bare soil. That's the first thing you need to know about regeneration. Bare soil is never acceptable for any amount of time because the sun will sterilize the soil and that will have the soil blow away, and you just never have that. So with the right system, we'll actually do that naturally for you. So then all the animal feces is there. The insects are going to pull a lot of those nutrients into the soil, and they're going to get fed. And as they create homes, those homes become cavities in the earth where water can stay. And also you're building up this soil organic matter content because they're bringing a lot of organic matter into the soil, which holds more water and provides more nutrients and feeds more life. So we're creating a positive feedback loop. We're creating more abundance there, which is then, so when you understand, for example, succession, so you have like kind of a desert space, and you have the mosses and lichens, and then you have grasses, and then you have bushes and shrubs, and you have pioneer trees, and you have like the established trees that come towards the end. So we're trying to accelerate that process. So by having healthy soil, now we can bring in trees, and you can still keep the animals going through. They love the shade. They love the stuff that falls off the trees, so they'll eat that too. But you're producing another crop. So instead of just cows, you went from cows to cows plus sheep plus pigs plus turkeys plus chickens on the same space of land. You've 5x your biomass, your animal biomass, which is all profitable on the same acreage. So that's, again, we're multiplying our wealth. Then you bring in trees and bushes and maybe vines and mushrooms, and you're multiplying your wealth again. So this is how you can create a automated, very productive, regenerative farm system. If you incorporate goats, it's just going to go to hell. So that's my.
So something that you said, hi Finbear, welcome.
Not a big fan of goats. I missed a couple of minutes getting all my stuff, but yeah, I hear goats are like, they're like maggots. They eat everything if you don't keep them well fenced.
Something that you said, Hex Dragon, was related to us talking about the health of the soil being the wealth of your land.
Yes.
I love that concept. And then also, like, people need to know that by covering your soil and creating an environment with moisture in it, you're allowing a place for insects to have life cycles. And we need them to have many, many life cycles before the soil is ready to be productive. Give and take. But that's what we're after.
Exactly. Like people need to study the food soil web, or just the food web, and recognize that monocultures don't work. They're very degenerative. But diverse ecosystems work very well. So when you understand, like, okay, well, we have species, which then the insects like, which then the chickens like, which then these other things, and then they all are supporting each other. And this is why I say it's automated. We are overusing technology, and technology almost always is worse than nature when it comes to production. I mean, our technology, we've been evolving it for, if we were being generous, thousands of years, while nature has been evolving, creating niches for billions of years. It's the R&D, it's superior.
We're just catching the train.
Right. Every insect has a role on your land, and it takes time to understand that. And just like every animal has a role, but if they're not guided or whatever, or in a complete system, then the system has failure points. And that's what humans as stewards need to identify, or what are these points of failure or potentially, and how can we step in to get the system on track so it runs on by itself. The intention of regenerative agriculture is to create an automated system that you don't have to do that much work for. Like, moving animals can take 15 minutes a day. That could be your maintenance. Your job could be a 15-minute job to run a multi-million-dollar ranch if you set it up right.
What did you just say were points of failure?
You as a human and steward of the land is to identify points of failure, recognizing that sometimes there's going to be something that's missing from the system and how you could bring it in. So the more diversity you have, the more insects and plants are going to naturally step into these niche roles to make the system established and balanced. But also understanding what that looks like. So when you have, for example, we bring in a bunch of animals onto the land. They eat the grass down. Great. We moved them properly. Great. Now we have a fly problem. Okay. So we could do nothing, or we can be proactive. If we do nothing, that's also fine. Birds will come in, spiders will come, other things will come and get established. If you do something, you could bring in chickens, but don't act as the predator. Don't create a job for yourself. Oh, my job is to flies all day, or poison flies or whatever. Like, you're spending money and you're creating a job, and you're not looking at the whole system. A fly has a place in your system, and it's just understanding what its purpose is, and maybe what you need to bring in to balance it. So spiders will come in, like here, brought in sheep, and now the sheep pen has all these giant spider webs and stuff around it. Like there were flies all over the sheep for a little bit, but then spiders came in and balanced the ecosystem. Now we have very few flies. So that was the do nothing approach. But you can do it. You can do it other ways, and every problem is actually a potential source of income for you, whether it's saved or profit. For example, an abundance of flies is free food for chickens. Chickens, more profit.
Yeah, a friend of mine was talking about how there were webs all in his face, and I was like, well, that was because you just recently had a fly problem, like little gnats around. And he was like, what? How did you know that? I was like, I'm just reading the book of nature, if you will. It's almost like we could just simplify it down to, like, how would you control water? and so as long as you are hands off on how you would control water on your property, or just in general making it go the avenues that you want, that's the similar way of hands off. Allow gravity, or allow nature's momentum to work on its own. That's how hands off you need to be.
Yeah,
because otherwise you're going to cause a problem.
You don't want to have water pumps on your property. They fail all the time. If you're relying on technology is designed to fail. We live in the era of planned obsolescence. Any tool, any technology you use, it's designed to fail. And if you're not there when it fails, it can lead to a massive die-off. So by, for example, hiring Mark Shepard's team to design your water moving things, what happens is the water gets slowed down up high, gets stored in ponds, slowly seeps through, so it moves very slowly. It's an automated watering system. It won't fail because It's a natural system that's there, and that system can be in place for thousands or millions of years potentially. Once it's healed and regenerated and the water holding capacity has been reestablished. And you won't have to water your plants. You won't have to maintain it. It's a multi-generational solution. Your pump will last weeks to months to maybe years. And can you afford to replace it? Can you afford it to fail on you? Can you afford long-term power outages where you can't use it? And that's going to happen usually during really hot times where people are using AC, draining the power grid, and now you can't water your animals because you don't have a natural automation system in place.
So something that comes to mind is like, quite possibly there's still going to be a pump going from the low end of your property up to your highest pond, but you're already going to have all of the stored water in all of the ponds to where you are resilient already. And then so that little bit of malfunction, it'll just be fixed.
Yeah, and also if you are going to have pumps, look at what technologies have worked really well. It's not modern technologies, it's the windmills that we've had that operate free energy, and they can operate for centuries. You see them.
That sounds like a really cool field trip if we could get somebody to go to a windmill and, you know, observe how it works in live stream.
And they're pretty simple. I mean, it turns, there's a thing in here that moves the arm up and down. It's just like a hand pump, but it's being automated with the wind. Very few parts. Any farmer can fix it themselves. And that's what you want. Is farmers are DIYers. They don't have time to wait weeks for a handyman to come out and take care of their stuff for them.
Yeah. Finbear, did you bring any special item to this live stream that you wanted to talk about?
Not on purpose, but
Oh, yeah.
now that I noticed it by mistake, I brought my favorite coffee cup.
That is cool.
I've had this for years.
Oh, those are knuckles.
Yeah, it's like these gilded brass knuckles.
Are
I
they
had
real?
this when, like, back in my insurance salesman days. I had this in my, like, this was my office cup.
Does
Are
it do a
they-
worse
Nobody,
job
yeah, I never
insulating?
had to fight over it. Like, I always got to drink out of
Just
my mug.
break the cup.
Are they real brass knuckles? Like if you punch somebody,
No, well, you could only once. It's just ceramic with a like a really nice gilding done to it. Or it's probably glazed, but yeah.
Does it do a really
Just
bad
a
job?
harmless mug.
Does it do a really bad job of insulating?
Well, it's a huge mug, so eventually it's gonna be pretty cold once I get to the bottom of it.
Oh, I meant towards your hand.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. It's not hard at all. Yeah, it's cool.
So my show and tell item would be the encouragement to try out acupuncture. I went riding my bike across town to the lake the other day, and I stopped in at my acupuncturist, and she was like, "Hey, when are you going to schedule? You're not on my schedule." I was like, "You know what? I'll do that this week." So I've got acupuncture later this week. I recommend going multiple times at first, maybe like twice a week for 6 visits or so, or once a week for 6 visits, and really allow your body to see the opening up of the energy paths that acupuncture promises. But you have to, you know, it's like doctor situations. You have to be comfortable with the person. So have fun with that, Hexicans. I push you toward acupuncture. Try it out. These people are professionals, and they're waiting for the flow of understanding to reach them. So please don't let them just sit there and wish that times would catch up with their profession.
And if you're a skeptic, by the way, I lived with an acupuncturist. who didn't believe in acupuncture.
Okay.
But she also had countless stories of all the people she helped.
Yeah.
So even if you don't believe in acupuncture, the placebo effect will still take hold, and there's a good chance you're going to receive healing from placebo. And if acupuncture does work, then great. So either way, it's a technology that does create healing in many people, whether or not it's real. Now, just do more research into it, but it is fun. I've had a good amount of acupuncture and some really interesting experiences with that also, on the quest to treat my restless leg syndrome. So it's definitely not something to be afraid of. And if you're struggling with something, give it a try before you discount it fully. Because even if it's just placebo, that might be all you need. But maybe you'll get many more benefits out of it than you realize.
Yeah. In the end, go pay somebody to put attention on you and make you feel special, and get you through whatever it is that you're going through. But we're here for you, Hexicans. If you want to, come out to the Telegram
often
chat.
that is one of the mechanisms that makes it work. Is the sensation that people get that they are being looked after. Sorry, my kids just got home from a birthday party, so it's a bit lively behind the door.
One of them is going to be an opera singer.
Yeah, I had no idea.
No one does.
Hey, Finbear, can I have your attention? You ready for this? We talked about it the other day.
Yeah.
Remember how you were talking about rubber boots being in hex colors?
Yeah.
We could do the gradient on the rubber boots, and we were talking about like around the world competition, that thing.
Yeah, rubber boot throwing world championships.
And I said something about like, well, let's have I feel like I need a construction hat in order to be doing this work of reconstructing the social norm and introducing crypto to people. So I had a construction hat in my truck.
Oh, oh, that's sweet.
You're getting there.
Nice gradient, man.
Just need a little bit of the
a bit more pink, maybe.
Yeah.
But like, that's wild, man.
That's awesome. Black tape to make the hexes.
Yeah, I already had my hopes up that you'll pull up like rubber boots with hexes on them.
So also in there, I was debating about sharing this. I have a project. So this is another pseudoscience thing. These necklaces are orgonite. They have like different antennas and stuff built into them. You feel like your energy field shift when you put it on, and there's all kinds of other potential benefits. Anyway, I'm friends with a couple of guys that make these things, and they're a little pricey. Everyone's hand custom made. I want to make some, incorporate some of the technologies that they have with Hex and Pulse, and want to sell them to our community. I have a couple ideas for how. To everyone would have like a unique serial number on it, so that we can. I have an idea for. I need to talk to Maddie about it. I'll tell y'all later. But anyway, would like that be anything you both might personally be interested in? Is having like a custom like 3-dimensional, really like eye-catching thing that also has other technology built into it, a necklace. Would that be something that either of you guys would be interested in?
Yeah, or maybe like keychains or something. And then you could gift it to the next person, and then you could say, keep this on your body. It helps you from the technology waves that are trying to enter your body.
Yeah. Keychain is interesting too. Yeah, it's gonna there'll be at least a few $100s. So
it wouldn't be just a giveaway thing. Yeah.
No. I mean, these things take hours to make. So, and to order a lot of the stuff, they have to order in very large quantities. So even if we're doing a small run, it's still going to cost many thousands of dollars in materials just to be able to get started. But it's really high quality stuff. So I'm just curious, worth it or not.
I wonder how many Hexicans are into wearing jewelry in general.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, like a
but
prototype costs me about 10 grand to make. So
Yeah, I imagine quite a few nowadays.
yeah.
There's a lot more diamonds going around than what I would have imagined a few years back.
You're saying showing off materialism? What are you saying?
No, I'm saying everybody's pretty blinged up. Nobody I knew like 2 years ago was buying diamond anything. And now it seems that I see guys buying like diamond encrusted toothbrushes and whatever. Like everything's blinged up to the max.
And this is in what social circles, or not even your social circles? Instead, you're
Not
seeing
just
online?
like all the hex flexing going on.
Okay, hexagons.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, that's pretty stupid shit. Like, this is for people who only think about themselves. People who do that are only thinking about themselves. And it's frustrating for me because they don't recognize that they're connected to other people and to the planet and stuff. And that when you sell down the hex price, it affects everybody else. If you're buying it just to put in diamonds in your toothbrush, like that's an insult, in my opinion, to the community. Is like you're being wasteful because you can be wasteful. You're not fulfilling any needs for yourself or your community.
I don't know, man. It's like there's people in Hex that make such ridiculous returns. Like every 1 cent increment that the price goes up, they can make like 50 million bucks or something.
Mm-hmm.
So like the amount of money that they would just have to give away is ridiculous.
I'm not saying give it away. I'm definitely not telling people to do that. What I'm saying is like be more conscious. Like
I'm sure I'm like I'm just of course I'm sort of projecting a bit because I'm thinking what would a person like that do, and of course it tells more about what I think I would actually do if I was in a situation like that.
Mhm.
But I'm sure everybody's thinking about what they could do to make things right. But still, like if I was extremely loaded and I wanted to have like a diamond encrusted toaster, I'm fine with it. Because that money is gonna get spent one way or the other. So yeah, I don't like I'm gonna spend a lot of money on stuff that other people might think is absolutely silly and pointless. Like my plans include like buying land that is absolutely sort of ruined, that nobody can do anything with, and I'm gonna try to make it better.
Well, that's
And
to make
sort
a
of
point, though.
That's what I'm advocating
yeah,
for.
it is. Yeah. But I'm gonna do like silly stuff with my money, and I'm not gonna be asking for permission or for sort of social acceptance. I think we need to be more open with people spending their money as they see fit.
Well,
The
I'm not trying to like tell people how to spend their money. What I'm encouraging is you being aware of how you're spending your money. For example, diamonds. You have two choices. You can get factory diamonds or you can get bloodstones. So
oh yeah,
support,
completely different things. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
what are you supporting?
I agree.
So I'm just trying to bring this level of awareness for how our actions impact each other and the world. Because when you have money, you have a choice. You can choose to buy factory, or you can choose to pay more for bloodstones. And
which makes no sense.
right.
Like why would you, if you have the option of like no human suffering and a cheaper price? and constant quality. Why would you even think of anything else? So yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Hey, now that I remember, I wanted to compliment you on your a few of your latest videos, Hex Dragon, that I've seen. Like excellent stuff.
Thank you very much.
Really, it's really been a pleasure watching those. The one with the what was the fella? He had some camera issues. It kept skipping
Kevin.
between the video. Yeah,
Kevin.
it was. Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Yeah, so y'all got him to stake after that video?
He's still going through the process.
Okay.
Getting set up with the exchanges and all that. So holding their hand through it. I hope to do a live training with them that I can share as inspiration for others also. But they got a lot of really good stuff going on right now, so their hands are kind of tied. So we're just trying to find a time. It shouldn't take too long, but
cool.
They got good stuff going on, so I'm not rushing it.
Yeah, that was a really good video. I added timestamps to it if anybody wants to read through those and see if there's anything that they want to pinpoint.
Thank you so much, Gavin. That was really wonderful.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's my pleasure, man. You're pollinating the space. Silver Trader.
I think you can. I think you can take your hard hat off, unless you wanna just keep it on for the rest of the stream. I can't see your face at all behind the Silver Trader comment. So there he is.
Silver Trader. The route that I shared whenever I went out east, north of Houston, I was north of Livingston. I was in the area of Alto, Texas, and let's see, what were the other areas? Crockett, Texas. The area got less rain than Houston, but quite a bit more rain than what I get here, at least double the rain that I get in the Austin area. And you are correct. Quite a bit of it was sandy loam on the way, let's see, a little bit further south of there, on the way over. And then it was sandy loam once I got up there, I believe. I didn't take any soil samples, and I actually think that would be a good thing for this group to do, to take a soil sample and do that clay jar testing with water. So you have a jar full of water, you put a handful of soil in it, or maybe like a quarter of the jar filled with soil, mix it around, and then let it sit for a day and see how your layers show there on the edge of the jar. And so you'll be able to understand how much clay you have, how much sand you have, and make measurements or assumptions from that. So I hope that I answered your question, Silver Trader. Finbear, I'll take off my construction hat.
Yeah. Hey, I had this one thing that sort of occurred to me over the weekend that I spoke about with the Australians on Hex Tangents show, but I thought to myself that I'd probably bring this up with you guys as well to see if it sort of resonates with you. But I was sort of thinking about history, about like the 1500s, so going back like a bit before my time, and how the Chinese were technologically by far the most advanced nation in the world at the time. They had the biggest merchant ships. Their like as a fighting nation, they had an army which was bigger than anybody's, and they were doing business wherever they wanted because they were like far superior to anything that the Europeans had to sort of resist with. But they did one crucial mistake sometime in the late 1400s something, when returning from their voyages, the emperor decided that because China as a nation was so far advanced to everybody else, that instead of educating the brutes and all the bearded bastards abroad, they'd isolate themselves from the surrounding world. And instead of embracing what was foreign to them, they closed themselves in, which gave the opportunity for Europeans to sort of overtake them in the sort of the political influential realm or whatever. Because we already knew about the Chinese invention of gunpowder and manufacturing of paper and all these like silk and what have you, all these like pretty cool Chinese inventions that we already picked up on. And because the Chinese weren't doing anything with it, we got to improve on their ideas and took it to where we wanted to take it to, which led to Europe ruling most of the world, including big parts of China. So as like a method of operating doesn't seem optimal. And somehow it sort of reminds me of like a Bitcoin maximalist position, where they sort of see that there's other things happening in other areas of the world that they don't understand much about. But instead of trying to communicate and understand, they would much rather just isolate themselves and ignore the problem and sort of bask in their own glory and smell their own farts as long as it's possible. What do you guys think?
Very complex. I knew you were going to say something about them creating paper money, because I think I saw it live on Tangent whenever you were talking about this.
Yeah. And not even like necessarily paper money, but like even paper is a Chinese invention. We used to use animal hides. Like imagine what a bloodbath it must have been when somebody back in the day ordered like a family Bible size of a book. You'd have to kill like 300 bulls to get all the hide you need for a book. That was pretty rough. Coming up with paper must have been like a relief.
In the architecture realm, we're taught about vellum, and there's an artificial vellum that is a paper product these days. But vellum back in the day, I think, was the lining of like sheep's intestines or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, animal hides.
Hex Dragon, you're muted. I was keeping my eye on that.
Thank you. Yeah, the maximalist thing in general, I mean, it's something for us to be aware of. Now, we need to bring that back to ourselves for a while. Right now, Hex and Pulse are going to be like number 1, 2, 3. So really easy to be excited by that and to be a maximalist in that also. So we want to make sure we don't repeat the mistakes of the past and recognize that crypto is a tool. And my approach right now and how I'm helping all my friends is that using a tool to create a lot of wealth. From there, start diversifying into other cryptos that aren't about wealth generation, but about like community management or governance or other things that are other tools that we need for a functional society. And Bitcoin is a really good example of a path not to go down. I tried to be all these things, didn't do any of them well. It's just the first and has a lot of people invested in it. And because of that stagnation, a lot of people aren't really sure what to do because they can't. Like, there's people who just have so much Bitcoin that they can't sell it all quickly. They have to sell it over time. So they have to keep promoting it so that they can keep cashing out. Until they cash out, then they'll become haters of it too. So understanding a lot of the intentions behind when you have people giving advice like just Bitcoin. So, well, what does your bag look like? And are you actually, do you really believe that? Or are you trying to just sell your Bitcoin?
Hey, is it just me or does HEXtraking come off a bit choppy?
Just you.
That's
Oh
good.
man, even you. So it's just me, but it's really choppy.
I want to see the recording because I'm using a hotspot today to help out. I've had really bad connections before.
Oh man, this is pretty horrible.
Oh no, I'm horrible.
No, no, I can't. Like, you're not horrible. Like, you're just as horrible as the rest of us. But I can't, I can't make anything out of the video. I'm gonna have to hop off, guys. This is pretty.
Well, hey, this is a good time to call it.
Thank you. Yes.
It's a healthy amount of time for let's see, 71 minutes. So
Yeah, this is good. An hour is good.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming out today.
Thank you for the consistency.
Yeah,
I really appreciate it.
So those things that I recommended for topics, you know, like maybe one item per stream would keep us fulfilled.
Yeah.
You know, if you have it, if you don't worry about it.
And I would recommend maybe adding, it's going to come afterwards, but adding like somewhere so people can see what the topic is. And that way people, if they're jumping on late, they know what we're talking about, that kind of thing. So just stuff to make it more easy for people to know what we're talking about.
Yeah, I might do like this sort of thing. Because I actually don't want to change the title. I'd rather us continue to snuff out this idea of like what happens after sustainability, after people think that they have reached sustainability, whatever you think sustainability is going forward. But yeah, to be placed in the brain. Thanks for that input. Nothing is ever bad input or bad vibes. I don't have an ego anymore. I burnt that. I lit it on fire.
And ego is like a phoenix. You might burn it down, but it finds a way to come back.
Yeah.
Good stuff, guys.
All right, guys.
Okay.
All right.
See you next week.
Good having you. Really fast. Sorry, I wanted to bring this back up, this topic of was I on top of sandy loam soil or not whenever I headed out to East Texas. You can look up via the internet government resources, whether they be state or U.S. geography. You can find information about the exact soil situations on a map. So please look into that, Silver Trader. So you could pinpoint more directly the answers to your question. All right. Take care, guys. Come out to the chat at HEX Foodies Telegram chat.